The ocean levels are rising. It's not a political issue, it's a numbers issue, and the numbers don't lie. You can have an opinion on why it's happening. You can even argue that it's just the nature of nature and there's nothing we can do about it. But what I won't abide is denying that it's happening at all. I'm not a trained scientist, but measuring the depth of water is not rocket science. When you graph the measurements, you get a nice steady climb. Any fourth grader can see it. So what are we talking about here? Well, basically a slow motion global tsunami, but the water never recedes. Across the planet, 800 million people are going to have to head to higher ground by 2050. To be clear, that's more than twice the population of the entire United States. We're looking at 10 to 15% of the world's economy being underwater. Thousands of factories, power plants, refineries, and highways will all be claimed by the sea. When that happens, the entire planet is going to have a refugee crisis and, as a result, a global economic depression. The highways are already filling up with insurance agents heading inland like deer running from an unseen wildfire. Now that should be your cue to get the hell out. If you feel like you're good at adapting to new environments, then I kindly remind you of our friend the frog. Read The Grapes of Wrath if you want to know how Americans deal with depressions. When the American dream seems to disappear like the sun in the west, we load our cars to the breaking point and we chase it. In that situation, I'd rather be driving the Joad family's 1926 Hudson than a 2026 Land Rover. Modern cars are designed to need proprietary parts, fluids, and software to operate. They will stop rolling when the grid fails or refineries shut down. I need something that can adapt, and that's what this project is all about. The End of Days report is running 15 classic four-wheel drives through a 17-point testing protocol to find an automobile that will thrive in a world where fuel and parts need to be found, not delivered by Amazon. Each episode of the End of Days report scores one classic North American four-wheel drive and 17 apocalypse-focused tests. The average of the 17 is the final score, which then goes on the leaderboard. This is the fourth episode, so 3 contestants have already set their marks. The Chevy Suburban holds the top spot right now with 12 contestants to go. I just finished running the numbers on our 4th contestant, so I'm ready to go over the report and see if the International Scout has what we're looking for. The first step is to find the Apex drivetrain. I only test one configuration per model, so first I have to find the best one they offered. I sifted through every Scout 2 in the 1971 to 1980 generation to find the ideal setup. Let's start with the engine. The Nissan diesels they offered were disqualified for quality issues. They suffered from catastrophic cylinder head cracking and piston crown melting, which is too damn bad, because I really like to see a good diesel motor get the Apex nod, but so far, they've all been flawed. International also used a couple of AMC motors, the 232 and the 258 inline 6s, which were engineered for passengers, not heavy loads, so we're going to pass. International made 3 motors in-house. The 4-cylinder 196 was for weekend beach trips, but the 304 and the 345 V8s were cast in industrial-grade, nickel-rich iron. Both are excellent choices, but the 345 was International's school bus engine. And that means you'll be able to find spare parts across the country, and that's huge. So I had my Apex motor. Next, the transmission. Automatic transmissions are auto-DQ'd because they're complicated, fragile, and hard to fix in the field. That left 2 manuals, the Dana T18 and 19. The T19 has fully synchronized gears, so it resists gear damage when panic shifting between reverse and first, which happens a lot when you're being hunted. There are 2 transfer cases to choose from, the Dana 20 and the Dana 300. The 300 had a lower gear ratio and a more rugged 23 spline input gear, so I chose it. And that completes our Apex identification. The Apex drivetrain is found in the 1980 Scout II with a 345 cubic inch V8, the Warner T19 manual transmission, and the Dana 300 transfer case. This is the first gasoline V8 we've ever had. Now let's take a look at the scorecard and see how it performed in the 17 tests. The Apex drivetrain average was 94.67. All three components should last 300,000 miles or more. The Readiness category is there to absorb penalties for pains in the ass that you're going to have to deal with straight away or chronically. The Scout only scored a 50. The first problem is stiction on the cam bearing. If you leave a Scout sitting for an extended period of time, you have to use a drill to spin the oil pump and prime it a few times before starting the motor normally. Otherwise, the cam bearings can delaminate, and that would really suck if zombies were on your ass. Now, secondly, the freeze plugs in the cooling system corrode from the inside out, so you should replace the factory steel with non-corrosive versions so you don't suddenly dump all your coolant. The protocol loves gear-driven timing, leaf spring suspension, and solid axles, so we have high scores there. The steering uses fluid, but it can be converted to muscle power if need be, so that's worth 80. It's EMP-proof. There's no EFI to fry. It's running a dead simple Holley carburetor. That makes it 100% EMP-proof right out of the gate. No sensors, no computer, no problem. It scores over 90 in the repair categories. There are a fair amount of parts scavenging opportunities when you consider the school bus supply, but it falls short of the big brands in this category. There are aftermarket parts widely available, and you can fix anything with a basic vacuum gauge and SAE hand tools. Alternative fuels and lubricants are a must in my scoring system. Most V8s have a lot of trouble with converting to wood gasification, but the Scout's V8 has an 8-to-1 compression ratio, which can handle it. It also runs well on propane or natural gas with a conversion kit. So far, the Scout is keeping it tight with the leaders. PTO availability is a make-or-break category. It broke the 85 4Runner with a big goose egg, and it made the Suburban, our current leader, with a perfect 100. The Scout has 2 power takeoffs, so you can run a winch and another device simultaneously. 2 PTOs scores a 75, whereas the Chevy Suburban's 3 PTOs scored a perfect 100. Now, it was all going well for the Scout until we got to the mobility section. It gets a crappy 9 miles per gallon. Your 19-gallon fuel tank will be dry in less than 175 miles. So you're going to have to waste some precious payload space on extra jerry cans of gas. The gear ratio will crawl boulders beautifully, but it only allows a cruising speed of 65. So bandits are going to run your ass down like a 3-legged dog. This score, 42.61, is the lowest we've seen in a report through 4 episodes, and that's going to drag down the final total output number. So what is the FTO? When we add up the 17 totals and average them together, we get a final total output of 79.45, leaving the 85 4Runner in the cellar for now, but not even threatening the Suburban or the Dent side's positions. So what do I think of the Scout after 10 days of immersion? Well, first of all, let's be clear. Every vehicle in this competition is a major league option. Any score over 75 means the vehicle is end of days capable. I've always loved the look of the Scout II and its removable top, but I don't think I'll choose a vehicle that screams at 65 miles per hour and needs a manual oil prime if let to sit for a few months. If I already had a Scout, I'd put some money into it and I'd consider myself ready, but since I don't, my search for the champ continues, and next on the list is the Toyota FJ40, one of the greatest off-road vehicles ever made. An end of days report looks at a lot more than off-roading ability though, so make sure to subscribe so you don't miss it. This has been Casey Jones for the End of Days Report. Thanks for riding along.